I'm ChosenArchitect, and this is Stoneblock 4. Ah yes, jumping back into some more Stoneblock 4. In last episode, we trapped the Wither for its farts, semi-automated the production of awakened draconium, and then completed the tier 8 draconic energy sphere. Yes, this thing is massive behind me. But now today, I've got bigger and better plans than just, well, milking the Wither. Today, I do want to milk the Ender chicken. I mean, I'm not joking. It's right here in the quest. We're going to be milking a chicken, quite literally bringing home the chicken that we fought a few episodes ago, the mighty Ender chicken. But exactly how are we doing this? And why do I have like deja vu? Like, I really do feel like I've done this before in like Stoneblock 2. There was something similar to this. But I guess disregard all of that. Today, we've got to figure out how we're going to teleport that chicken to our base, and thankfully I kind of already caught on to that whenever we actually fought the original chicken. And that's because the ring was made from a draconic portal, and I've used those portals in the past, but there's a lot of other mods that make portals like that much simpler. But yeah, the draconic portals are really cool. You basically place out your frame, and then you take a dislocator, click it onto the controller of the frame, and thus a portal is linked to wherever that dislocator was originally shift right clicked at. And so really all you need to set up one of these portals is a draconium infused obsidian. That is what the portal frame is made from. And then connected to that portal frame somewhere needs to be a dislocator receptacle. And so the quest does tell us to make ourselves a dislocator, which is quite easy to do. And it also does mention that we're going to want a fluid laser setup with a black lens, but does it specify how tall this needs to be? Interesting. It says to achieve a tiny chicken, as soon as you summon it, place in the dislocator immediately. And so we shouldn't have to worry about it then, because it's going to automatically be a small version of the chicken. I like that. And I do remember whenever we summoned it in, it started off as this smaller chicken and then grew into a large one. But if we stasis it, it should stop and halt its growth cycle. And yes, end up giving us significant slowness, whatever this slowness is, 2040% slowness. Now, to set this up, the dislocator, I believe, is very specific. So I do want to align myself as best as possible with the center of this block. This is very close to center right here. And then I want to look in the direction that I think this chicken is going to be facing whenever it does get spawned in, and then shift right click. And so now this dislocator is bound to the top of the stasis chamber specifically. Now, another thing I do want to note, I did set this to a higher priority. I definitely don't want this chicken getting loose in here. So I even have it higher than our Wither, but our Wither is actually protected. So we should be fine there. And everything else is good. I just have to toggle this back onto redstone mode ignored and set my platform up. And I'm kind of replicating the same design that I did over here. I may have to go a little bit bigger or smaller, but I'm hoping that I can surround it with the tinted glass just like it did and make it look like a test tube. Oh, and now I almost forgot. Why are we doing this in the first place? Well, this, according to the quest, is how we are going to get chaos fragments. So instead of fighting a chaos dragon and doing that whole thing, instead we get chaos fluid, which we then cast into chaos fragments. So we get a little molten chaos, which we're going to be getting from using the fluid extractor on the Ender chicken. And that is going to get us those tiny chaos fragments, which are going to be very helpful for more than just completing this quest, which is going to require us to get a black hole and so on and so forth, and antimatter and things like that. But instead, this is going to really help us with producing many of the advanced chickens that we're going to need. For example, the awakened draconium chicken, because I don't want to have to craft any more of this and wait, we can just make an awakened draconium chicken and we will be golden there for draconic evolution. And like not only an awakened chicken, but like chaos chickens, we just need large fragments here and draconic cores. I mean, it does cost a little bit of power and we do need to be at chaotic tier on our infusion injectors, but I mean, everything else, yeah, I mean, this is doable. Now, before we do this, something else that probably needs to be done, make sure the area is force loaded. And you can do this by basically claiming and then holding shift and click again. You need to make sure this is loaded, especially if I'm going to another area. This is a big deal, and I don't want this area to not be loaded and somehow this mess up. because then we'll have a ender chicken loose in our base. And it destroyed its own base last time. Also, to make sure this thing doesn't move, let's be sure to throw in those speed and efficiency upgrades. Make sure this is constantly running. And you know what? Since we're also on the topic of dislocators, I'm going to make the advanced dislocator real quick. And this thing is really cool. It allows us to use ender pearls as fuel, and we can set destinations basically anywhere we want, and then rename them, and then we can just teleport them, and we can just keep growing that list. And so this gives us teleportation access to anywhere we go in the future. We shift right click and you can see this is our location. For example, if I want to set this as home, I can go down and let's just call this home for right now. Anywhere I'm looking, by the way, is the very specific location you're going to be looking at. So let's just say this right here, and then we'll create add new, and then we can rename this by double clicking or clicking on here and say home. Just like that. And this is perfect. And we can add some fuel, by the way, into here. Like I said, those ender pearls. We can throw them into our inventory, shift right click, and then click all. And that's going to pull all the ender pearls in there. And now we have like 960 uses, for example. And I can use the scroll wheel to set the destination if I have more than one. Right now it says home there on the right. And I can right click and it just teleports me right there. It's super nice. Or what you could also do is if you're somewhere and let's say you need to get here, you can shift right click with it and then click on the one that you want to teleport to and right click. And that just teleports you right to that location. Pretty darn useful device. After that, I think I got everything prepped up and I am back over here where we originally summoned in this chicken. So the goal is to immediately click on here, the mighty ender chicken egg, and then immediately set the dislocator on here to make sure that it opens up a portal to the location where the chicken's at. So without further ado, 3, 2, 1. And no, it grew. Wait. Why? Wait, I don't understand. It did not teleport it. And I don't have my chicken stick. No. No. We must run. Okay. What? Do I even have a chicken stick on me? Oh, can we use like a Just Dire thing catcher on this? Please. That would be kind of cool. I have a feeling though it's not working. Why did that not work? That definitely doesn't work. Okay, we're out. I'm out. Ow. This is awful. All right, so I crafted up a chicken stick. I'm assuming I'm going to have to take them out. Hey, I've got to take them out. Like, that shouldn't be that horrible to do. All right. I say that, and the portal is just getting destroyed. This is not what I was expecting, honestly. I probably should use my shield as well. Another chicken fight. Yeah, the portal's there, though. He's just not going through it. It's so weird. Not sure. Oh my gosh. I mean, I've almost got him down again. I'm so confused by this. Huh. Maybe I wasn't fast enough? Or maybe I was too fast. That should have worked. That should have definitely worked. This guy is so resistive, by the way. What in the world? So after diving back into the quests and reading them a bit more, because, I mean, who reads, right? It does mention, for some odd reason, the chicken will teleport back if it's in the same dimension. You should set this up in a compact machine. Huh. Well, darn. I mean, there goes the good look of the base. I think, though, this is probably for good reason. I mean, imagine teleporting this into your friend's base. Yeah, not good. So if we are going to use a compact machine, I am going to make one. And that is going to be the Netherite version of the compact machine. It's not the largest one. The Soren box, which is the purple one, should be the largest version of the actual room. But I don't think we need anywhere super large. But I do want to do something kind of funny. Since I can't have it at the base, unfortunately, I'm going to set it up here. So I'm going to take these compact machine walls, place this here, and then this is essentially going to act as the room. And I am going to build this same sort of structure that I built over here for the wither that is going to encase this. I still want it to look like a test tube, but inside the test tube is a compact dimension. Now, inside the compact dimension, I guess we should technically take this. Also, this doesn't need to be powered. So I'm going to take the power off of here and take the upgrades out of it, but still build another stasis chamber. This is just how this is going to work. I guess we just go inside. Yeah, we right click, and I'm hoping this is going to be enough room. Yeah, this should be plenty of space. I am going to set my spawn right over here in the corner. So shift right click to set the spawn location to that point. And we are going to have to give ourselves a bit more space if I'm going to want to do this. Let's see. Yeah, stasis chamber definitely needs to go on top of here. And we may need more than one stasis chamber because I'm unsure if the ender chicken here is actually going to take damage from the fluid drill, much like the warden does whenever you try to drain it. Like the wither doesn't take damage, and that's completely fine because it has its own regeneration system, but things like this may not. So stasis, and then I've already got the fluid stuff prepped up. So let's try this again. New dislocator, we drop it in like that. I've got this destination bound, and yet again, we want to make sure this chunk is force loaded in order for it to function. And I just simply want to get the chicken here and make sure it stays here. And so thankfully I did set my destination with the advanced dislocator, and hopefully we can just simply teleport back to the ender chicken, cross dimensions here, and try this again. All right, so fingers crossed, nothing is broken. I'm just going to click and click that, and it did teleport it this time. Oh goodness. Okay, perfect. That's exactly what I need. And now we just need to teleport back. Also, by the way, I do want to take this back out, and it's as easy as just clicking to actually pull the portal back out. Now, back inside of the compact machine, it is awake and doing a thing. Well, that's not what I wanted. Why is the stasis not working on it? What? Wait, no players in arena. The chicken despawn. What? I feel like I've made so many mistakes today. When I was setting the location, I forgot I turned off the stasis chamber. Now it's back on. We're going to try this again. So 3, 2, 1, click, click. Okay, this time it did teleport, and hopefully my stasis chamber was on, and it held it at a small state. Fingers crossed. Oh, please, moment of truth. Oh, thank goodness. It's right there. The mighty ender chicken in a frozen state, ready to go. Oh, that's exactly what I want to see. Now, even though it is small, its hitbox is still large. So when I hit F3, its hitbox goes all the way up here. And I'm assuming that I need to make sure that its hitbox is formed right here. So our base of our fluid, it probably needs to line up right here. So something like this should suffice. Now, it does seem like I might run into a problem. I wonder if I can just have this, you know, significantly higher. Like maybe I can have it up here. So that way we could even have the lowest, yeah, the lowest lasers in a list. If we need multiple lasers, could be there. And the fluid itself can be up top here. Ooh, this is interesting. I mean, how would you know? I mean, you wouldn't even know how tall to build this thing without having it in place here and without even knowing to hit F3B to see hitboxes. Now, one thing I do want to test right off the bat is, does this thing take damage somehow? So it has 1,000 health, which is pretty nice. And the stasis chamber does have a healing effect, but this might still like outdo the healing that the stasis chamber does. And we should notice it taking damage. I think it does tick. So let's get a point. And we're going to give this a shot. I mean, this is like a weird mechanic here. I need to put a black laser lens into this, and then we'll turn this on. And is it successfully draining? It looks like it is. And we're going to need upgrades, I mean, essentially. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, this is not functioning. So we may have to let the chicken grow back out because you can't just place these laser things into the hitbox. It doesn't allow it to happen. And such a strange mechanic here. So, I mean, there is something else I could possibly do is use the cut paste gadget to take this setup here. And I would want some sort of guiding blocks. to make sure that I place it in the center, but I can possibly use a cut paste gadget to move it down, and I can give this a shot, not exactly knowing if it's going to work. I'm going to try and put it like right above it maybe, but even then I don't think I'm going to be able to expand on the setup here if it is placed in there. So let's go ahead and try it. Let's just cut all of these blocks, and I'm going to align it right down here, lock it into place. Yep, that seems good. And then bring it up till it is directly above the chicken. And we'll give this a shot. I think I can place this in. Yes, so the gadget does allow it to be placed into position. Ah, interesting. So it just took some tick damage here. Or at least I've seen it take tick damage. Ah, and yes, we do have 1 millibucket of the molten. Interesting. Okay, so let's take a look at this hitbox here. Actually, down here on the hitbox, it almost looks like we can place blocks in because its legs are here. We just won't be able to place like one of these lasers right here without using a cut paste gadget. But this is fantastic. So yes, I am going to be adding more of the stasis chambers to hopefully help keep this healed up. And yeah, I mean, this I'm hoping I can go faster because it's only going to produce 1 millibucket every operation. Now we can make those operations go fast, but I mean, oh boy. Oh, and also I need all of these to be max upgraded. So I'm going to surround this with some cables here and just throw in all of the upgrades for these things. We should have enough power for this, but this is going to be very power hungry. Now, the reason this works is because of the actual working area of this. You can see all of these line up exactly right here. So all of them should be helping in the healing process. That they all give off this healing effect. And so yes, every time it completes a ticking operation like this, you notice it is taking damage, but it is being healed back up, which is exactly what we want to see. But now I've just got to get all of these upgraded, and that is going to make the ticking start happening a lot faster. So now this thing is running, and we are probably going to need way more of the laser drills for this. I mean, I'm noticing though, is the chicken taking a whole lot of damage? It is instantly healing up, which is exactly what we want to see. Perfect. But yeah, I mean, this only produces every operation 1 millibucket. 1 millibucket. Now, if need be, we could technically raise this whole setup, and we could raise it up by 1 more block, and then that would allow us to get even more stasis chambers in here. And that might be something we have to do. I mean, I've got to get this thing producing pretty quick. 1 millibucket per like tick, or not even per tick, is very slow. It's going to take so long. I just want to make sure that I'm not actually fully killing this chicken. And so, I mean, this isn't super bad of a rate. I mean, this is still producing, I mean, it's almost like 1 millibucket every few, I mean, it's not too bad, but it could be better. But I mean, at the further we go with this, the more damage we're going to take. And we're also going to run into an issue where we're going to have to start using an external sort of mod to be able to power these, because we can stack them another row back and we can add even more of these. But at that point, you start to run into that issue, or like I said, we're going to have to use something like modular routers to be able to wirelessly power these things. Now, just like I've done before, I am going to use ender tanks, and we are going to push to this ender tank. I've got to get down in here, and I'm hoping I can place this right on top. If I can't place it on top, then what I'm going to have to do, yep, I can't. Oh, there we go. I managed to get it on top. There we go. I was going to say I was going to have to use the cut paste gadget to place it on top, but I think this is going to work. Plop down here and just make sure this is set to push. I was going to push the contents into the ender tank, and then we're going to do the same setup we've done before, but now we have this constantly generating. Oh boy, what a setup this was. And so I'll place down a storage drawer. We'll drop this, and then that is going to automatically send our fluid out. Perfect. And yeah, now we've got to start actually making the shards from this stuff. Now, currently it doesn't show that there's a recipe for the nugget cast, which is kind of what we need in order to cast out the shards. I'm just going to assume it's the same as everything else. 4 ingots and a nugget in here. And yes, the assumption was correct. Perfect. Now, something I'm wondering is like, how fast is the actual casting operation here? So if I fill this up, oh, it makes the shard very quickly, actually. Okay. So maybe what we could do is we could test out this setup a little bit differently. So instead, I can have like a functional storage drawer, maybe a compacting drawer. I actually don't know if these are going to auto compact for me, but we could just use a regular drawer for right now. And this will be the bottom like this. And then we'll have a casting table on top. And then on top of that, we can do a fluid drawer, or we could do the ender tank directly. But just in case it can't keep up, I do want the fluid drawer. And then we'll have a pusher upgrade that'll push the fluid down into the casting table after I put the cast on, that is. Perfect. And then we want this to pull. So maybe a puller upgrade. I just don't know if this is going to be fast enough to keep up. So pull from the up. And that should start pulling the shards in. But is it going to be fast enough? Because this does consume 100. I think it is going to be fast enough, actually. Oh, yeah, plenty fast enough. So, yeah, instead of setting this up because I wanted to see what the buffer looked like here, we could just place the ender tank directly on top of the casting table. So beautiful. As I was doing a little bit of research here on the next chapter, basically taking a look at the particle accelerator and trying to wrap my pea brain around the particle accelerator's mechanics, a little bit has built up. And this is perfect because we are going to need a few of these fragments. And I do have them linked up because these small fragments are ones that we need. And then the small fragments get turned again into large fragments, and then those get turned into chaos shards. However, large fragments are the ones that get used quite a bit, for example, to make these chickens and things like that. I mean, that's so much. And this produces so slowly. Like this one small chaos fragment, that costs 9 tiny chaos fragments. That's fine. But to make the next tier, that costs 81 to make the chaos. We'd have to have 81 of these individual time processes happening. And that's with all of the speed upgrades and the setup that I currently have running. I mean, I have 36 max laser drills on that thing, and it's still producing this slow. I still feel like the 1 millibucket per operation, that's too low. But I guess this will incentivize me into making sure that my particle accelerator that I know nothing about is going to go smoothly. Yeah, but we'll see how that goes. The particle accelerator stuff is coming very soon, but I think we now have enough to make the awakened draconium chicken. Okay, so the awakened draconium chicken, definitely want to get this done immediately because I still want to make that power storage ball and put it in the base, and we could definitely do that this episode too. I went ahead and made myself another draconium chicken, so that's good, and I just realized the draconium chicken is actually a tier 8 chicken, not even a tier 9 chicken, and I believe this is our first tier 9 chicken, so I do want to make 2 of these so that way we can make most of the other chickens a little easier. And they all kind of require each other too. But now this leads me back into our draconic crafter. All right, so we have almost everything, just the fragments. So I'm going to take 2 of those. Actually, we're going to make more than those because I do want 2 of these chickens each. And then we can set that and it's going to automatically start. And we get to watch this beautiful little draconic chicken grow up into a full-size awakened draconium chicken. How cute and adorable. It takes a lot of power too. But there we go. And we'll accelerate it to make sure it crafts nice and fast. As one would deserve. And now we have the awakened draconium chicken, allowing us to make unlimited amounts of awakened draconium, which, by the way, I do need, because we need that power ball set up, and we need to also convert our power system over, possibly from using our current power system, which we'll still have. But I do want to flip this over to having 2 separate flux networks that allow us to send power into the ball and out of the ball through flux networks, which will have us limited to 2 billion RF per tick, which most things do not transfer at that rate, so we should be fine. Of course, I got to get this guy and start this guy getting some gains here, so at least we have the top tier seeds able to level this guy up. And beautiful. This chicken leveled up, doing its thing. I mean, just passively producing a ton of this. That's so much. So now let's take a look at the power ball. I actually want to put this underneath the floor here. I think this will be pretty cool looking, and I don't plan on having anything else on the floor. So I have my builder set up. I'm going to do a 21 by 21 by 21, and I have it drop down 13 in a sphere that is a solid. And we can see that that now goes down, and I left a gap here. And I might bring it down 1 more just to have 3 levels in between, actually. So let's do minus 14 on the side, and that should give us a space of 1, 2, 3. And then this will be the top. Now I will definitely mine out so we can have like a glass floor so we can see down. But yeah, I think this is basically ready to go. Just making sure there's nothing else above. If you really wanted to, you could put a filter in here to make sure that it doesn't break anything specific other than stone. But I'm just going to go ahead and let it rip. I mean, What do I have to worry about? I don't have anything to lose in here. We'll say though, oh, it is so satisfying watching this do its job. And this is going to give us the perfect dimensions too for this, because I think the sphere itself only takes up a 15 by 15 space. And so we can put the thing in the wall here, and it gives us the perfect layout to have this sphere underneath. And so we just place them in. I'm filling up the holes like this, and this starts our draconic energy storage. And then try my best to line up the energy core like so. And then with all of the ingredients inside here, we should be able to click on this, set our tier all the way up to tier 8, and then hit assemble. And it's going to automatically take it out of our inventory and assemble this core. Beautiful. And yet again, this is such a satisfying process to watch. Oh, as all the blocks get placed in. But there we go. It is almost done. As soon as it finishes, it should form the draconic sphere, assuming I have enough. That's right. No, I do have to activate it manually. And there we go. Beautiful. But now we need to start sending power into this. And the way we do that is through the energy pylons. And you place some glass on top, just like this. And then you can click the ball to turn it into a sender or a receiver. For example, this is going to receive power. So we are going to need to get into flux networks a little bit deeper. And I'm now going to make 2 separate networks. Now to make this work effectively, essentially, I want to create a new send network. And so I've made a new network over here that is called send. And I've just simply placed a point onto the one that is set to send into the actual sphere. You can see the 2 arrows pointing into the ball. So to be able to make sure we don't have to mess with any of our other points on the actual receive end, all we've got to do now is take our plugs, and where we have our power, we just want to make sure that we're receiving power into the network via this new red send. So all of my plugs are places where I'm currently receiving power. I need to make sure those plugs are set to the send channel. That way I don't have to mess with anything else. Now I did manipulate this a little bit more because I still want to power our ender cell, especially in situations where I'm using gates. And so to do this, I just simply put a point on it now. We can also now monitor how much power we're actually losing to the output that the ender cell is currently sending out. And then also tapped onto the back of the transmitter. I wanted to make sure I powered this, but set that to a -1 priority. I want this to make sure that if I put anything in my inventory and it starts to drain our power, I don't want it to drain too much and potentially shut off our AE system or something like that. Even though this is going to only transfer out 40,000 RF per tick, it still is something I want to make sure that I don't do. Now back to our sphere, because we do want that other network, right, to be pulling power. That's where I have on the receiving outside area, on the receiving plug. I really hate these mobs in here. On the receiving version, we have this set to send, which is exactly what we want. And perfect. So now to just simply decorate the rest of this area. So as far as the design goes, I'm back to the anti-blocks again. I know I can't get enough of these anti-blocks, but I am covering up the anti-blocks. The anti-block is just to kind of make it look like it's sort of being suspended down below. And then I am putting some of these create windows here. I think this looks pretty darn good, as it definitely gives some different colors to the area, which I kind of like. Say this turned out pretty decent. So we have our power down here. We shouldn't have to worry about it or access it or anything, but it would be nice from time to time to go down to be able to check on how much power is being stored in here. For example, if I plop down here, we can just click on the ball and we can see how much power is going into our system and how much power we currently have stored up. And we also set like a value here. For example, I can say, I don't know, 200 billion. And now we can actually see this is our target set. And it now gives us a more realistic value, like that is starting to build up. And so now we have an infinite place to store our power, which is really nice. Now I would store it in the world engine, but I have heard that there are times, and there has been some issues, where the world engine essentially needs the power to be shut off or needs it to be deactivated in order to function. And so to avoid this, I just wanted to build another one here at my base, which I think is much better. Now, this does not explode or anything like that, so nothing we have to worry about. Just simply sending power to it, and it's unlimited power storage. So now anytime we are generating power, it will run through here, and we should be able to have a better understanding of our power network by seeing what's coming in and what's going out by having 2 different networks. But I think that is going to be it for today. My goodness, we milked a chicken and set up a giant infinite power storage in our base and made ourselves an awakened chicken. I would say today was quite the adventure. And so if you did enjoy today's episode and you learned something new, well, be sure to click that subscribe button if you haven't already, and give this video, guys, a huge thumbs up. And with that being said, it's now time for me to thank the amazing supporter of today's episode. And amazing thanks, well, that's going to go out to Fujin to Arazian. I think I said that right. Thank you so much for your amazing support and choosing to support me over on the Discord by becoming a Discord premium member and just supporting my content in honestly one of the best ways possible, allowing me to make these extra episodes that are a bit longer and playing these mod packs that take a bit longer to get through than a normal 30 episode series. So thank you so very much. And guys, I look forward to seeing you all in the next one. And as always, thanks for watching.